Welcome to a new episode of Legends of Bodybuilding. My name is Ben Wellen. I am one of your hosts, and the other one is a man that made Dorian Yates look small. The legend himself, J.P.Fux.
Hello, nice to be here. Nice to see you guys.
And of course, today we have again a very, very special guest. He was Mr. Germany in 2005. He won the World Championship in 2005 and his pro card between 2007 and 2015. He was in the top 5 at the Mr. Olympia with a 3rd place. In 2014, he won the Keystone Pro, the Australian Pro, the EVLS Pro twice. He won the Arnold Classic in Europe and the Real Arnold Classic in Ohio in 2014. Here he is, the big bad Wolf, Dennis Wolf.
Hello.
Thank you. Hi, Ben. Hi, Jean-Pierre. Hello, everyone.
Hello, Ben. Hello, Dennis.
Thank you for
Nice
having
to see
me
you.
on your podcast.
Alrighty. Okay. Jean-Pierre, you want to start?
All right, Dennis, so nice to finally meet you. You kind of had the career I would have loved to have, you know. I was, for a very short time, the best German-speaking bodybuilder, not German, I'm Swiss. But what you achieved is beyond, you know, this is just absolutely unbelievable. We get to that a little later. When I researched you, I was clearly fascinated with having grown up in Russia, like for 13 years. Even more fascinated, German mother, Russian father. So they must have met somewhere after the Second World War. In a short kind of, a few short sentences, how did that come about? They were not exactly friends, you know, the Germans and the Russians at that time.
Well, yes, you're right. But the Germans lived in Russia since 1700s. So they even had own land, own part of country, which was German. So they never spoken Russian. So they never mixed. So until the Second World War, right? So, and Stalin removed them and sent them to countries or regions. It was all Soviet Union, so one country, to Kazakhstan and Siberia, right? So, and since then, they became part of, the whole community in Soviet Union, right? So then the Germans and Russians start having mixed marriages, right? So, but not prior to the Second World War, only after. So, and that's also pretty tough story. You know, my grandfather was in war against Germany, right? So, and my dad married a German woman. So, and I never saw my grandpa. So I think my dad wasn't okay to, you know, let him know, you know. But also, he was kicked out when he was 15 years old, you know, so that's why there was already a bad relationship to his father. Yeah, but that's the history, right? So people mostly think the Germans who live in Russia are soldiers left, you know, from the Second World War, but it's not true, you know. So they've been there for hundreds of years.
Okay.
Well, very nice. I didn't know that.
All right.
You know, most Germans don't even know their own history. You know, they don't see Russian Germans as German. You know, they call us Russians. You know, so it's pretty weird. It's just sad that, you know, Germans don't know the history of their own people. You know, it's crazy, honestly.
Okay. So growing up in Russia, or should I say better, Soviet Union, did you do any sports from the beginning? Did you do anything, or were you just a kid that was playing on the street?
Well, of course, I was just a normal kid doing a lot of crazy stuff. But I started playing basketball. You know, I think I was 8. So I played for a couple of years. And unfortunately, we had to move to another part of the Soviet Union. And it was close to, you know, when the Soviet Union was, how you call it, destroyed from the inside, right? So it was no Soviet Union anymore. So everybody became independent. So, and I was in the area of Kyrgyzstan, so they also became independent. So it was close before that. So we moved to Russia and lived there for another 2 years before we moved to Germany. I was 13 years old, so 13 and a half. So basically all my young life I spent in Soviet Union, Russia. Yes.
Okay.
So then you started bodybuilding in Germany, or what was your first kind of? How did you get in touch first time with bodybuilding?
Well, I get in touch with bodybuilders already in Soviet Union. I was 7 or 8 years old, and they used to print in a daily magazine, right? Like the Bild in Germany, right? They used to print the past Mr. Olympia competitors. So there was like a big thing about Mr. Olympia. So I don't really remember what year it was, but I cut all of them out. So and you know, I always collected the pictures of anything I could find and cut out in magazines, right? So it was like black and white, you know, really thin paper. But I already then caught the interest. And then, of course, the first movies with Arnold and Stallone, that probably put me in that direction. Yeah.
Okay.
But I started bodybuilding in Germany, of course. Yeah, I was 19 years old. But before that, I did a lot of different sports, like, you know, try to do like all the fighting stuff, but nothing basically catch so much fire as bodybuilding, you know.
I was just contacted today by my very first trainer. I didn't hear from that guy in 30 years. Okay. And I do remember that first workout like it was yesterday, you know, how my life just changed. It was all about that pump, you know, that was just
exactly. This was the reason, I guess, I felt something different, because other sports, you just got tired or exhausted, but there was no pump in the muscle, right? So, and then like concentrated pump, like chest, arms, you know, legs. It was amazing to me back then.
Right. So you started bodybuilding around 19.
Yeah.
And how long did it take you for your first bodybuilding show, actually?
2 years. 2 years. Wow. Maybe less. I turned 21 1 week before my first show. So it was a newcomer, so novice today. And
okay.
So I had to compete with 21. I had to compete in open, like what is it? I wasn't junior anymore, you know. So the times changed now. You can compete until you're
23,
almost 24, right? So
right.
I was young, and my first show was right with the in the open bodybuilding. So I was heavyweight, 95 kilos, and in a novice, I ended up second, and in a real open class, fourth. Didn't get my qualification for the German championships, and a year later I came back and took the overall. So it was crazy. People didn't recognize me. So as soon as I walked down the stage, so I was backstage, everyone was asking like, "Who am I?" You know, I was like, "Hey, you don't remember? I was with you guys on stage last year." So that was incredible feeling too.
I was the small guy last year. Don't you remember?
Yeah, something like that.
Okay, we both won the pro card the same way. I won 1994. It was called Mr. Universe then, or IFBB World Championships. You won in 2005. Did you win the overall as well?
Yes, yeah, I did.
Was that, like in my case, a direct qualification for the Olympia?
No, that was already from the table. They just it didn't like that rule was not actual then, So unfortunately, but I went just 5 months later or 6 months later for my pro debut in Texas. Ended up like 7th, and then continued to compete. So I did another 2 shows. Did the Montreal, ended up 5th, and in Spain, Santa Susana Pro, I finished 3rd after behind Paco Bautista and Marcus Rule. So I got my qualification my first pro year.
Well, but quickly back to the World Championships. That was the show I was always kind of felt like from young on, I'm gonna compete in someday, place 5th, place 6th, place 7th, place 4th. That was kind of the Swiss way. There's no way you can beat the Germans or Americans. When I competed in '94, I knew exactly who is competing, but it's always the same where guys were in the top 6. One of the favorites was the European champion from Germany, originally Hungary, Nandor Kaki was his name.
Yeah.
Did you have kind of same mindset going in there, or did you know you're going to win there, or what was your mindset going to the World Championships?
So a year prior, like in 2004, I got beaten at the German Championships, and the winners, they went to the World Championships in St. Petersburg, I think it was, in Russia. So, and the Russians just destroyed everyone, So, and a year later, when I was going to China to compete at the World Championships, in my mind were like, oh, okay, last year the Russians were impressive. They were home, So, of course, more athletes from Russia will compete. And but ended up like having just 1 or 2 in my class, and the rest was like all World Championships in other classes. Like it was Ali Tabrizi, Kamal, the 212 Mr. Olympia champion, right? So all these people, I finally, like beaten by at the end, right, at the overall. So I was compared to all of them. And then if you remember, Arnold Buzek, he published a story about me, and how many world championships, world champions I was beaten at the world championships. That was amazing, but I never thought of like, okay, who will be there or something, only the Russians, because I saw what happened the year before, right? So the German champion who beat me in 2004, he ended up being 12th or 15th, So and then you basically see yourself, okay, if the German champion ended up like almost last and he beat me a year before, so yeah, but I tried never to focus on other athletes,
That's good.
But you had a big advantage because you had a lot of Russian blood in your body. So it was not like the German guy was going there and winning. Okay,
it was fun. Standing backstage at the World Championships in China, and the Russian president, I think Ukrainian president, they came by and asked each other, is he ours? He's like, the other one, no, not anymore, because I was competing for Germany.
So you won in China like me?
Yeah, Shanghai.
Wow. I can't believe it.
It's crazy,
That's
huh?
funny. That's really great. They didn't say Jay Cutler because I know you had this long blonde hair to the back.
Yes. Yeah, for the Chinese fans, I was Jay Cutler.
Exactly.
And they've been following me everywhere. Jay Cutler. Right. It's like, hey, will Jay Cutler compete here at the amateur show, like amateur world championships?
Awesome. Okay, I want to go back a little bit. I know as a young painter, you were actually a painter by the age of 20. And I know you walked around in schools with like 265 pounds. I mean, I want to ask you, how did that feel? And secondly, how did you even still manage to paint? We all know when you go overhead and you paint, and you, especially when you have big shoulders, all the blood goes in. How did you even do that? I mean,
you know, Ben, I got slower and slower and slower, you know, at work. So any type of work overhead was impossible. Well, I mean, it was possible, but I was killing myself, you know, like the shoulder was constantly full, pumped. All blood was there, you know, and so much pain just during work.
Right.
You know, after a while, I got like too lazy because I was so heavy and blah blah. You know how it goes, and then start what is it? Sleeping, right? So overslept every second day, and my boss got pissed every time, and you know, this is all your bodybuilding, and you know, so, and then he kind of switched my my direction, what I was doing before, right? So I was painting, I was putting glass into the windows, doors. So I had a fantastic job, and he put me on the outside of the wall. What is it? Like not just painting, but like what is it? I call it insulation. So we did insulation, but I never learned that. So you know, in all the 3 years learning process, you know, in Germany, it's called Ausbildung. So you know, I learned all the like fine stuff, right? So I was a pro at it. But then he sent me to that work, and I knew that's like the last couple of weeks. Then he's gonna kick me out because, right? So I was so slow, and you know, no experience. Of course, the others will be like saying, "Hey, man, he's not productive enough here." So yeah, and then I lost my job, and then I started another one. So and so on. But basically, I stayed 7 years at the same company. And after that, I was already too big to, you know, to have that as a main focus. So I already kind of start switching my my views, my goals, and you know, taking it, you know, into the becoming pro direction.
Right, makes sense. Absolutely.
So I have a question here about your work with coaches. You know, I mean, that's, I think, one of the very, very big differences between you and I. I totally missed that part, that I need any help. I always thought I can do it myself, which turned out to be a total disaster. So did you work with coaches already leading up to the World Championships, or did you just kind of listen to a little bit of everybody? And then later as a pro, how did it look like? And if you had a coach, as we all know you did have coaches, how much were they involved in your training?
I'll say in the beginning, I was listening to almost everyone, like, you know, who was experienced in this area. And I would say most of the amateur time, I was just listening and doing everything myself, experiencing a little bit, experimenting. And yeah, it worked out pretty good. So I always had a couple of people I will trust more than the other people, right? So it's normal, I think. And going into the pro career, I thought I might not know enough, right? So, and that's why I started working with some coaches. I worked with Chad Nichols, I worked with Milos, pretty successful. So he did crazy things with me. And I worked with Patrick Tour. So, but at the end of the day, I would say I learned a lot, right? But there's always a better way to learn your body if you have collect experience, right? But also, you're losing time as a bodybuilder if you're, you know, not going on stage 100% prepared, right? Or something went wrong, right? So there's losing money, time, and anything else, right? So, but in overall, I trusted two persons, as Dennis James and I will say it here, Martina Herget. If I wasn't sure I'm like too far or not in time in my prep, I will go to Arizona visiting my friend Dennis James, and getting a couple workouts, take him, let him look over me, and give me his opinion. The same with Martina Herget. She was the one who told me not to carb load anymore, so stop carb loading, and that's what I tried in the end of my career. So yeah, that was pretty much it. Like working with 3 or 4 coaches, and the rest was just me with some help from friends.
So, although I know it's spent stern, but I have a follow-up question on that. So you would just kind of step on stage out of a normal diet, or would you still deplete and then at the end of the depletion phase step on stage? How did that look like?
Yeah, I figured that if I was depleted before going into a carb loading status, right, for 2 days or so, I looked the best and felt the best. So I look incredible and insane in the mirror after a workout.
Where were you when I needed you? Where were you when I needed you?
And thinking myself, like, why should I carb load at all?
Yeah.
So, and that was, I think, my big thing. And 2013 was the first time I didn't do it. So, and I looked 2 days straight, perfect. I wasn't sweating. I wasn't like fading on stage after hitting a couple pulls, what was happening before, because I think too many carbs just changed my body, like during the comparisons. So I basically, you should get better, right? You squeeze the water out and all that, right? But I got worse. So in the beginning, when I first call out, I was like in the top 3, and then they moved me out.
Okay, I only can say Martina knows everything, because I know Martina very well too. She's absolutely amazing. So a follow-up question on that. Yes, your best shape came later in your career, after you figured out that carbs are not good for you for loading. Was Martina a factor in it? Did she tell you, man, try this? Because you always had that problem that when you start loading, you start to fade away, or you got worse from your shape? Or when did you figure this out exactly?
Yeah, talking to Martina, of course, and also like seeing it in the mirror. Like, every time I start carb loading, I just blew up, but the density and the sharpness went away, right? When I hit the poses, like everything was on when I was empty, depleted. So, but sometimes, like I said, at the end of the prep, your brain is not working the way you want it,
right?
So it scares you. It puts a lot of sometimes negativity into you, and then you just worried, and this is not a good sign. So that's why I always had like people who will say, okay, everything's fine, or hey, you're too late or behind, things like that. And leading up to that was the decision I made. Try it without carb loading. My carb load was just in the morning, a good meal with some carbs, not like crazy one, just normal meal, and then I will went to bed and try to stay relaxed until it's time to go. And of course, Olympia is always 2 days. You have to practice it and look what was working the year before or not. And leading to the last days, before the Olympia, I will try to go late to bed and stay up a little bit longer, and then go up like, I don't know, 11 or something. So I got closer to to the evening, right? Because in the morning when you get up, you look the best, the sharpest, and I try to do that. But it's it's tough. It might work once or twice, but the rest was just that's what I'm talking about, experience. Sometimes you waste time and energy, and sometimes it just don't work the way you want it, or the way you think it will work.
That's a very good example of everybody is different. So you should not just listen to this or that. So you have to try everything in order to find out what works best for you. The only thing I wanted to ask you, the last follow-up question on that, how many days did you then go with no carbs before the competition? 3 or 4 or 5, or how many days?
It was never zero carbs.
Yeah, I know. In the morning you had some, right?
When I understand that. So the week before, I probably would come down from 250 grams a day to 50 the last 2-3 days. And yeah, the meal of the day of the show will be with just 50 grams in the morning, you know, but a lot of fat, a lot of protein, so it keeps me full a little bit longer, you know.
Okay.
So I came from a time, you know, I followed the 70s, 80s bodybuilders, and they trained totally different before a show than in off season. You know, they started to do a lot more repetitions, a lot more sets. Then the 80s came, and I had this meeting with Momo Benassisa, who was translated by a friend. And he told me that more the opposite. He's doing more kind of the crazy stuff in off season, and then keeps it very, very simple, mostly 8 to 12 reps, almost does less towards the show. That's kind of what I did then. And I think that part worked pretty well. Did your training change at all off season compared to pre-show?
Training will change like the last 6 weeks before the show. I will train 6 days a week, you know, but off season and you know, the first weeks of my prep will stay the same. Just you know, it felt much easier for me to train in the prep. In the off season, I was always like too full. I was too I wouldn't say too lazy. I was never lazy, but it felt heavy to train, you know. So, and I didn't change much basically, you know. So like we all do a couple of changes every workout, you know. Those things, of course, they've always been happening, you know. And I always try to, you know, kind of you know, search the way for a better, different stimulation, right?
So another thing I noticed, your presentation was really great. I mean, spot on, just like mine. Just kidding. so
Jean-Pierre, you were among us. You were like, when I was looking at your pictures, just to, you know, put it in there, I was like, what is this?
Yeah, I had the ability
impressive,
to build.
and I don't know, I can't even explain it. Just to leave it there. So you know,
I had the ability
so, you know,
to build.
You were incredible.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So, how much did you pose in the prep, or did you pose all year, or how did that work?
Basically, the whole prep was, you know, to bring a focus on, bring the details out, right? So I would say I would start posing 8 weeks out, every morning, every night, 2-3 rounds, mandatory poses. And like 4 to 3 weeks out, I would start, you know, I will be like, you know, grading up to like 2 times a day, 3 times, 4 times a day when I, you know, like to. But 4 to 3 weeks out, I would pose before every meal. So 6 times. Right before every meal, and then like after the posing, I will eat and I will feel perfect. Yeah,
that's perfect.
Yeah. So people told me like Phil Heath is posing daily, the whole day. So and to be the champ, you always gonna listen, you know, what people say maybe and what he's doing. But at the time, I will never ask him, hey, how many times do you pose? But I will. I wanted to be better than everyone. And to get there in comparison, not to break down or look exhausted, you have to practice. And I figured it out a few years after I, you know, was in the bodybuilding circus, right? So practice is everything. Yeah, training, we all can train, but posing, you know, you need to put time in it.
Right. I want to ask you something, how it felt actually. And I cannot, certainly not compare myself to you guys. I know I won maybe a world and a universe title, but I know when I won my first Mr. Germany junior title, I was just 19. I could not even walk over the street anymore. I was like elevated. People could not even bring me back to earth, you know, because I was right here. Like I thought I was the greatest guy in the world, right? And I wanted to ask you, how did it feel to win that Arnold Classic in Ohio in 2014? I mean, I can't even imagine how that felt. Tell us, walk us through.
It felt amazing, of course, but yeah, I think at that moment you just, you know, I was searching for words to describe it. You know, when Arnold was interviewing me, that was like embarrassing when I watched it, honestly, because you want to tell or say so much, but everything what comes out is, yeah, man, I don't know. So, but yeah, it felt amazing because I knew I can win it. I knew it deep in my heart. I knew I can be easy the champion, right? And then I got beaten twice by my friend Branch Warren, and that got me a little bit, more motivated that it's time to win it. And when the time was there, I was like, lost the words. But yeah, it's I tried to enjoy it, but I think because of my mindset, I always kind of try to look further,
forward.
like, okay, that's done. Next one.
Olympia.
But with Arnold's, after that, I went on vacation for 4 days, just to keep that feeling that finally I won the Arnold Classic. It's like the second biggest title in the world of bodybuilding. So yeah, incredible.
Awesome.
Definitely.
Awesome.
Did you feel after that Arnold's you can go on and win the Olympia that year?
Of course I did. Yes. And I would say I had a great chance to do that, but ended up being fourth. So, but I can explain it how I see it. Like the top three were similar, all similar. It was Dexter, it was Sean Roden, and Phil Heath. They're all similar. And then a big, tall guy standing there, twice as big as all of them, right? So you either be first or last in this group. I was last, so easy as that. But yes, back in the days, winning Arnold Classic will put you right into the mix as a contender for the biggest title in the world, right? The Mr. Olympia. And I felt this way. I really felt this way. But yeah, somehow, maybe it's just shouldn't be that way. I don't know. But yeah, I was going into the prep for the Mr. Olympia, with that mindset, 100%.
I want to talk about mental health. I know you're a guy who had an amazing metabolism. I mean, like, as soon as the food went in, it came right out. I mean, you had to constantly eat. And I heard a rumor, I'm not sure if it's true or not. I heard that you also had to puke because you ate too much. Is that true?
No.
No? Okay.
I never puked from the food. I puked once in the gym.
Right.
And I puked once after my guest posing. Yes. But it was hot. It was like I was in Holland. It was like 40 degrees Celsius. And I did like 2 rounds. It came out, like did my part and then went for another round. And then, I don't know, it was sticky, something sticky in my mouth. And so I had to, throw up. But it was it. So I never did that from the food. No way.
But you had to eat so much, right? You had to eat so much.
I sometimes I threw up in the morning, like, brushing your teeth, right?
Oh.
So it was when I was like 140 kilos. That was horrible. And that's why I never went over like 138, 137 further in my career. Yes, yeah, that's true, but not from the food.
Right. Okay. Okay. I know Jean-Pierre was like 155 at one point or something like that.
Yeah.
I remember Jean-Pierre was in Hamburg, in that famous gym, Olymp or something like that.
Yeah.
Right. And I saw the pictures. Oh, holy mother of God! That was insane.
I know that
I
was.
I was amateur back then, you know.
Yeah,
But,
I was
wow.
supposed to win my first pro show 2 weeks after. It was the first time where the top 5 were not all also top 6 in Olympia. You know, every show I entered, there were not too many shows. You had to deal with Flex Wheeler, with Kevin, with Nasser. You know, they were always competing because we only had the Night of Champions, the Arnolds, and a couple of shows around it, and then the European tour after the Olympia. So there was never even a chance to go to a smaller show. But then there was one in Toronto. So I looked at the competitors, Powell, which is great, you know, but it's very beatable, and Milos, which is great as well. But I never had a problem beating Milos up to that point. So I trained like crazy. I was really motivated. Just guest posing in Hamburg 2 weeks before, and went to the gym with Heiko. I got 6 in the morning the next morning, and had to do some crazy 200-pound dumbbell overhead triceps extensions. I don't know what the hell is wrong with me, you know, and pulled something in my elbow. But then anyway, I went to this show, and I depleted harder than ever before. And had this idea to carb load with insulin for 3 days with like 1,000 grams of carbs a day. I don't know. I mean, I wasn't the smartest cookie out there, you know, when it came to that kind of stuff. So
you basically destroyed everything, right?
Yeah. So I stepped on stage. I had all those little guys around me, which I should have beaten easily. And I ended up being like 7th or 8th. So after the prejudging, I called Nasser. I told the story here before. Just quickly said it's not going well, you know. I don't think I'm very good, you know. And he's like, leave the show, get out of the show, get out,
Get the fuck out.
This is very bad. This is very, very bad for the Olympia. Get out. So I started complaining about my elbow, which was a joke. It hurt a little bit, but it wasn't that bad, and left the show. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You were faking.
Well,
oh shit! I gotta go.
That's when you're experimenting, you know. But in your case, you basically had no idea what you've been doing. Yeah.
Yeah, I was almost arrested at the airport because of an insulin pen. That's another story.
My God. No, I did it with Milos, and it worked incredible good. But when I got older, over 30, that was not a good choice anymore for me. So no insulin, like for the most time of my career. Yeah, people won't believe it, but I never used it after a while, you know, with Milos, and after a while I did it myself, but then I stopped that too.
Yeah, my best show was without any carb loading. I mean, it was more of an accident, not planned as yours, because I couldn't load before the 97 Olympia. You know, I had so heavy diarrhea from, I think from drinking, having too much oil in the depletion phase.
Okay.
And I just couldn't load. I was totally empty on stage and looked by far my best. But then again, you know, instead of me taking a lesson from that, you know, I was like, okay, I could even be way better if I would have loaded, you know. So I just needed people around me but I only had friends around me who were more scared of me than you can think of, you know. Nobody.
I bet.
Nobody could really tell me, hey, what you're doing is not working, but, you know, it's all good now. But I have another question here.
Of course.
I mean, it's pretty obvious when we look at modern bodybuilding that you're by far the best German bodybuilder of all time. As I was looking through it, I think there was one who had an even bigger mark on the world of fitness and bodybuilding from Germany than you, who used to be able to gather 100,000 people to watch his posing. Do you know who I'm talking about?
Thomas Schoy?
No. Eugene Sandow.
Only be two people.
Eugene?
Remember Eugene?
Okay. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
see. I've seen some footage. You know, the guy was unbelievably popular worldwide, and people came from everywhere to see him pose. So I would say it's a toss-up between you two. You know, who's the?
Oh, wow. Oh,
Yeah,
thank you.
yeah. But you
No,
know, when it comes,
that was like incredible time back then. If you just think about it, you know, what was going on, right? Like
yeah,
body art, you know, muscle, you know, and how far it developed, you know, it's just insane, you know. And I think it's like a lot of people want to look healthy and muscular and a little bit bigger than usual because that's the strength you're kind of show, right? And people, everybody see it, but not everyone can do it, right? And I think that's why the people, you know, love that, and then that's why we have so much followers and fans in bodybuilding, right? Because it's incredible in first place and almost impossible for the most of the population. Yeah.
Right, right. Okay, Dennis, tell us the first time in your life you saw Markus Rühl live. And
I was, oh yeah, I I was waiting backstage for the overall comparisons, right? And at the smaller show, it was like regional show qualifier for the German nationals. Right. And Markus was guest posing. I've never seen something like this before. So watching him close, so he was like stretching, you know, in between, and I couldn't believe my eyes. I was like, "This is a professional bodybuilder." I was like, "No way! You wanna land there? You know, you wanna go up there, you know, and gain so much mass." So for me and straight to my brain, impossible, you know. So like sick. That was just sick, you know. And he just came from Toronto or something, right? So he was in his rebound, so he was like full blown up, you know, like incredible. Yeah, that was that was like scary to watch.
It was very similar when I saw him. Very similar. I was guest posing at the German Championship. It must be, I don't know, 97, 98. So I saw this crazy guy backstage, and I talked. They didn't tell me there's another guest poser. You know, so I asked, "Who the hell is this?" You know, and says, "Yeah, well, he's the guy who's going to win the heavy or super heavyweight," and he ended up losing the overall.
Yes, to a lighter guy. Yes, yeah.
So yeah, I remember he lost the overall. People were booing like crazy. Albert took the microphone after I posed. I was so big. I mean, it was 140, 50 kilo. I don't know what, you know, it's so big. Half of the people absolutely loved me. The other half, you know, they hated how I looked.
They were disgusted, right?
Yeah. And Albert said, well, we just all witnessed the death of bodybuilding. Like, wow.
Wow. No,
that's Albert.
Wow.
That's what they told Markus. You know what they told Markus? You know what, Markus, we're going to give you the pro card, but we can't let you win. Otherwise, the people think in Germany you have to be as big as you in order to win the nationals.
But yeah, I heard that story too. But I mean, hey, this is bodybuilding. It's not like everyone can look like this, right?
Right.
And not every show is you know, packed with athletes like this. So, but yeah, it was the same with me. They will give me the pro card. They will say, "Oh, you have to be no, you have to compete at the World Championships and place in the top 5. Then we're gonna give you the pro card." So I mean, what kind of rule is this?
Yeah,
yeah.
Like top 5. So better like put it the right way. If you have to win. So
right.
That will be for me the rules. If you want to be a professional bodybuilder, you have to be the best amateur bodybuilder. Exactly. So there's like titles you have to win, right? So but it changed, you know, right after. But before
and today you get the pro card on every corner.
World Championships, they handed out, I think, pro card to Armin Scholz and Pete Renz. So, no World Championships. And Armin was junior German champion. I still remember, but I might be wrong, but it was like that. I was like, hey, why me? Why won't you send me to the World Championships? But at the end of the day, I was happy because after that, my name just blew up.
Right. Exactly.
I was quite mad that Dorian and Marcus, back in the days, of course, they're deserving pros, didn't have to go to the Mr. Universe. I did not like that at all. Not that they wouldn't have won or found a way to win, of course, but I never really understood that you can just give out pro cards as a national champion.
Yeah. And if
Ronnie Coleman was the last one.
And you're like close to that. And, it just doesn't make sense. And even at the regular regional shows, when when I still had to qualify for the German championships, people will tell me, like in 2004 and 2005, I don't get it. You look like a pro almost, and they playing with you and stuff like that, because people were getting pro cards without being even German champion.
Yeah, right. I mean, before the years before I won the Universe, every single guy who won the heavyweight or super heavyweight ended up like in the top 10 of the Olympia.
Mm-hmm.
Peter Hansel, Mike Christian, Bob Harris. Yes. I mean, they're all very great. And now often you see in pro cards given out, you never hear from those guys again. Yeah?
Exactly. Well, look, back then when I was a pro, we had like, I don't know, 300 pro, but competing maybe 50, 60, and but you know maybe 20 guys at max.
Yeah. I never really understood the argument. Of course, it's always money. It always comes down to money. But then again, I seen the USA this year, and I remember the days when Ronnie plays fifth, against Matt Mendenhall, against Paul DeMayo. Paul DeMayo beat Kevin Levroni, so you were so excited every year to go see the USA.
Right.
And they kind of miss out on that, so I don't quite understand the argument, but it is, it will not change, they will not change. Dennis, I want to get into something a little bit less exciting. We had some issues in the last few years with some early deaths, which I think could have been avoided. What was your take on that? And do you think it was always like that? We just see it more often now, or what's your take on that?
No, I think it's a very, very scary thing what's happening, and it was not happening before. And well, I think. I don't know how to say it, but people got pushed into something where they just followed blind into it and did it, right? So the last was the German famous guy who died. Yeah, he told it like live in a podcast. He was vaccinated and they found something in his blood. So, and then a couple of weeks later, he was dead. So, I mean, it's weird what's going on. And what's the scariest thing is it happens more to the athletes. I think because the activity is different than normal people. The heart rating is different during training, during normal life. I think that's one of the causes. Yeah, but it's showing up everywhere in all corners in the world that something is off. That's not normal. I lost a friend. I lost many people I knew, right? So, and they all been vaccinated.
Right. Okay. Talking about something else, you got a very special gift when you signed up with BSN as a sponsor. Tell us about what you actually got from them. I think it's very exciting.
Yeah, I mean, back then you will get a signing bonus that you sign the contract with the company. So my signing bonus was a car, so I could pick any car I like one amount of money. So, and I picked the Aston Martin DB9, so it was incredible.
The really cheap Aston Martin DB9.
Very much, yes, yeah. But it was not a brand new one, of course.
But still,
yeah. But I thought, look, when I probably get another chance, right, for something like that, and yeah, I took it. Yeah, it was fun. It was fun, but not an everyday car, not for that price, and. Of course, like oil change is what, $500, things like that. So
right, I know.
Not for us normal people.
Right. No, I know how it is. I had some luxury cars too. $10,000 for a service is normal. Like,
yeah, you know, it's crazy.
Crazy, I know. All right.
I have some at the end, towards the end, I have some questions about your private life, but there is one question we went into it just quickly. But I want you to kind of elaborate on it a little bit more. So you had an injury, and then you did a comeback. Tell us a little bit more about that. And during the comeback, did you know that you're not as good as before anymore, or did you just hope this will eventually, in some way, work out?
I would honestly say, when I started the prep for my comeback, I felt amazing, but during the prep, some things got developed that you know, I couldn't be focused like I was before. Appetite was down all the time, basically. You know, I took maybe half of the supplements, you know, what I was taking before, and I start to understand whole process, you know, what's happening to me, to my career, when I didn't get like the first, the second, and third call out. So I got the fourth call out, and I knew, okay, Dennis, that's the last one, you know, so just enjoy it and do another show, because I signed up for the Arnold in Australia, you know, so, and I knew right away, you know, that was it. In Australia, I was already kind of relaxed, but full with thoughts, you know. I was already thinking like, what's next, you know, what I'm gonna do, what I'm gonna like start with, you know, so what, like, how it's gonna feel, you know, not competing, not preparing for a show. Yeah, very, very unusual, scary feeling, and it's like it's happening everything at once. So you're competing, you're focused on that, but then, you know, okay, it's not gonna be a good place, and you know, you're not looking good, not as good as you always been, you know. It crashes you a little bit. Yeah, it crashes you. Yeah.
Did you think about kind of making some changes and try again, or was it after Australia, or you knew before, this is it, I'm going to do something else?
I knew it's impossible to bring back what I lost because of the injury and the recovery. So I was fully recovered, but we're speaking about, like, you know, feeling well, like have the feeling everywhere. But during the training, it was still like before, you know, there's no connection. Like one side was not connecting as the other side still. Without pain, you know, better feeling, but not the connection I needed or I felt before. So there was nothing 100% in the whole prep, you know, and the comparisons that gave me to understand, like, you know, that's like the last sign, you know, that's it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, and then I was 2 years really kind of trying to figuring out what should I do, you know, like tried a couple things, and yeah, I was in a negative position, like mind wise, you know.
I was just totally different for me. I was very excited.
Yeah,
very excited. I didn't want to do it anymore. I started to be really scared, you know. I might die over this, or, you know, And also I didn't have, of course, the results. I mean, that didn't help much either. And I was just then focusing on animals, and I was very excited to start that part of my life. How are you doing now with injuries?
Oh man, I feel amazing. I still have some issues here and there, depending how many people I train. Like my lower back hurts a little bit sometimes, like even traveling. So if I fly coach really long, man, I need a week to recover from that stuff, you know. So yeah, things like that. But basically, that's also the reason why I train fasted right in the morning after waking up, is just stay healthy and feel that energy I get in the morning, and it makes me sharp right away, you know, and gives me that feeling that okay, the whole day is mine, you know. I'm done with most important thing in my life, it's training, right? So being active, and then the whole day is mine. I can do whatever I planned, or what kind of appointments I have, you know. And so it's pretty good, damn good, I would say. Like healthy wise, I never felt better. So, and also look, I lost a couple of pounds because I don't train when I fly somewhere, and I've been on, you know, been traveling. But as soon as I come back, I start training, and you know, everything comes back, and that's the, you know, I look like this for 2 or 3 years right now, so without changes. I love it. I love it. There's no pressure. There's no like, even if I'm hungry and I miss a meal, so hunger is what I like, and I think that's why I stay in shape. So I'm basically not overeating. So I'm not eating enough. So that's why I stay there. So if I try to get like heavier 2-3 kilos, I just eat for a week. That's it. So I figured out that, you know, what I'm doing now is just working for me the best. Yeah.
I think you're pretty happy that you don't have to eat that much anymore, because in your career you had to eat a lot, a mountain. But let's go a step back. How did you get that injury? Walk us through. What happened?
Well, until today, I still don't know what was the cause, the real cause. But there are many opinions from the doctors. Some doctors say because of my thickness in the neck and the muscles around, you know, and training for a long time, I start feeling it too late, right? So it was already something going on, and the calf, you know, was starting to disappear in 2010 maybe, and that was already the sign that something was going on in my neck area, right? So cervical spine is like, there's like whole nerves are going through, and there was already something pinching it, but that was so stable, I won't feel nothing, right? So, and when when it started like really like hitting me with pain, it was when I was flying to Europe. So I was leaning my head back, and that was so painful. And I thought, okay, maybe I need a massage and whatever. So, and then it didn't go away for weeks. So when I was back in Vegas, I went to a massage therapist, and after 2 sessions, I was perfect, right? So 2 weeks later, I start, you know, there was back day. So we started training back, and I did like a couple of rows, and my side will not connect. So one arm will go up, and the other one would do the, you know, the movement. So, and I was like, what the hell is going on? Then I went to a doctor, you know, we did an MRI, and then he told me that, hey, so much stuff is going on your cervical spine, even some bone rests were pinching the nerve, so they were disconnected already, broken off, and were sticking in the nerve. So that's where the pain was coming from the whole time. Yeah, I went under the knife, and he promised me, look, I have even a SWAT team member. He is back in his job and kicking the doors in again, you know. So, and it was a great doctor. I said, okay, let's do it. And I felt way better after that right away. But it never came back to 100%. And then I spoke to another doctor. He said, if the nerve problem is not recognized for over a year, there's no chance you can bring any all the functions back.
Okay.
So, and I think that was the case. Too late,
Right.
not like not straight to it, like to see whatever it was. But I think it's just too late. It was just way too late. We figured it out.
Wow. So your early signs actually was your calves just disappeared. They
Yeah,
just
I think the left calf. Yes, the one side, the inner calf was like gone. So and I saw that problem by a German bodybuilder, Erich Beil. He was vice world champion in 2004. So and his whole calf disappeared, and it looks crazy, And I was having like nightmares about this, but I was never thinking about that will come from the neck, So
it's good to know as an early sign for somebody maybe has the same problem. Maybe you should check.
I mean, they told me that would be the case, but 100% I will know from what was the case for my issue.
All right.
Heavy lifting. Oh yeah, I mean, of course, heavy lifting, that could be the case. Your bodybuilders.
Right.
So I don't really know much about your private life other than a little bit what I've seen. I've seen you have a wife, you have a son, you have a beautiful house. Stepdaughter, sorry. Beautiful house and a crazy gym in your backyard.
Yes, sir.
Is kind of what you will do in the next 5-10 years? You're going to just kind of train people and enjoy life, or you have any other plans?
Look, thank you very much for the words. Look, I have almost every year some plans. Some of them work out, some of them not. But I think I'm gonna change my life completely. So yeah, I have a couple of plans, but I'm still in love with training people, preparing people. Yes, and try to open a gym in Germany and here. But that was all before the pandemic, So, and then on the other hand, I think like, okay, if I would open the gym in Germany, I would be already gone or so, So all things I experienced in the past, like which didn't work out for me, turned out to be good choices that I didn't kind of, went into it full time, So, and that's how I see it right now. But I'm not gonna train people until the end of my life. No.
All right. I want to ask you about something crazy, something I would say you almost died, a jet ski accident that happened in Kuwait. Yeah. Tell us about it.
Yeah, we were stupid, pretty much. So we were in Kuwait. So there was like Dennis James, Melvin Anthony, myself. We've been going to Kuwait maybe twice a year at least, just to train there, right? So it was when oxygen gyms were like, growing on
coming up
popularity, So nobody knew about bodybuilding back then. So it was 2007. After lunch, we went to the beach and rented those jet skis out. So, and went way far out without putting the life jackets on. So idiots, right?
Right.
So, and then what happened to me is I got a lot of water in my eyes, salt water, not used to it. So I started burning. I started cleaning my eyes, and my jet ski flipped because it was, full with water. It was broken one, right? So no.
Well, he froze. Yeah. When you can hear me, Dennis, you froze. I guess you have to go in and out.
I don't see you guys anymore. Now.
I can hear you. Can you hear me? Go in and out. Dennis, can you hear me?
He's probably rebooting right now.
Right.
Just amazingly grateful. My my Wi-Fi and the camera works for once really good.
So now he went out. So I think he will be right back.
I got only one more really here. I want to ask him about the Dennis Wolf Classic and
right.
where
Right.
this
I know.
is,
And
that's
and
pretty much all I got.
Dennis.
I'm
There
back.
we go. There we
Okay.
go.
Yeah.
God.
Just continue the story on when
Yes.
when you
So I
flipped
was
over.
hanging, holding myself on the jet ski, and Melvin Anthony came by and like telling me, flip it over. And I'm stupid idiot, try to flip it over, lose a lot of energy, like, you know, got some water in my mouth, all that. So, and I started developing panic. So Dennis James came by quick. He just like stretched out his leg. I grabbed his leg. He pulled me over to his jet ski and started talking to me. Like he understood. He saw it in my eyes. I was panicking, you know.
Right.
And he was talking to me, trying to calm me down. Worked out pretty well. So, and then when I was calmed down, one like skinny guy came to to bring me back to the shore, to the beach. So I got on the jet ski, like still afraid, like, you know, of the water, you know,
Right.
because I almost drowned. And I grabbed him like that from behind. You know, I was big. I was like 6 weeks out of 2007 Mr. Olympia. I was huge. So I
Right.
almost like killed him probably. So he was
Squeezed him
driving
so hard.
back to the beach, right? So, and you know, you stopped like, I don't know, 2-3 meters, like 10 feet from the shore, and I was afraid to jump into the water. Can you believe that? So much panic was still in me,
Right.
you know, and nobody understood what's just happened. And you know, I jumped into the water, got back to the beach, and just lay down on it. And everybody, my wife, we were like, "What happened?" And like, nothing. Like, I almost drowned. And then they figured out what was happening. So at the same night, we flew back to Germany, and I couldn't sleep, and I couldn't think about anything. Just what just happened that day. I almost died. You know, if not for Dennis,
And
I wouldn't be there.
I will never ever use a jet ski in the ocean again, because I went too far out in Turkey. I was very young, and I couldn't see the beach anymore. And I felt like something's underneath me. And I looked down out of nowhere, and there was a coral reef right underneath me. I could have hit this thing, you know. There was no breeze, nothing, you know. And I got so scared. I was so scared. I drove slowly back, and I will never, ever, ever. The only way I'm using it, the only place I'm using it is up in Vegas, but I think that lake is disappearing too, the Lake Mead. It's kind of a little low now.
But
I mean,
Dennis,
it came
wait.
back a lot of water
right.
this year.
But Dennis, you had a lot of problems afterwards. I think you could not even take a shower, right?
For years,
Wow.
I couldn't take
That's
a shower
amazing.
without like having issues, you know, like just washing my head, like you have to hold your breath, right? I couldn't do it, like panicking. So every time trying to hold breath, it was too much for me, you know, like even today, jumping into my pool, it's like almost bringing the memories back sometimes.
Wow.
You know, so
Incredible.
yeah, it's psychologically that, yeah, almost destroyed me, you know. So
Right.
yeah, but Jean-Pierre, yeah, you're right. Open water like ocean is dangerous place. You can't compare it to a lake. Lake is more predictable, you know. So, but still there, you know, with water disappearing here, Lake Mead, you have to sometimes drive like standing just to see, you know, is there like something like really close to, you know, looking out of the water, because you don't see it sometimes if you go fast, and yeah, that could be your last ride. Yeah. So my wife, she had recently the last ride, she had an accident. She flew from the jet ski. She was making like 65 miles. It's a lot. So, and yeah, she was hurt for 2 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah, my wife will not sit on my back. She flew through the air in a turn. I just seen her flying like
she has her own jet ski. She drives also fast. Yeah, but look, some couple seconds you're not concentrated, not focused, shit like this happens, and you know you could be dead. So it's like a motorcycle. I always tell people it's like motorcycle. It's not fun what you think. Yeah. Even if if you see my videos, I drive fast. It's like 70 miles per hour, but I'm concentrated. It's just a short time, you know, and I know where I can do it, you know.
Right.
So yes, motorcycle or jet ski is you know, can be deadly. Yes. Yeah.
Dennis, a few years ago, I tried to get a show to Switzerland, like something like a J.P.Fux Classic. And as I kind of planned the whole thing out at the meeting with Robin Chang and the Manions, I decided that it's a little much, you know, especially since I don't live in Switzerland. And then a friend of mine took over, Cotti Fleig. She's doing a great job now with the Swiss Classic. So your show is doing very well. And would you like to expand that to other countries, or what's the plan on that?
Yes, we have the Dennis Wolf Classic for 3 years now. The next one is going to be next year, April 6th, in the same place, Bochum, Germany. Yeah, I would love to extend, but it's not always that easy. Yes, you know, I love doing this. It's a completely different part of me. You know, like being promoter. Yeah, it takes you. Yeah, every year you're learn something new and try to make the show better. So, and I think we've been doing a great job. So from the first one to the third one, so the third was the best, and we were sold out each time. So I try to put a show on which is just a regional show, but I want the show to be like almost like a pro qualifier. The quality must be there, you know, like the people. I want the people to enjoy not just the time there, but also like everything surrounding that show. You know, the guests, you know, perfect stage presentation, all of that. You know, and I'm lucky enough to work with great sponsors, and yeah, who knows where the journey goes, but I would like to extend.
So yours is a pro qualifier, huh?
Pro qualifier, yes. It's a big question, but I don't think in Germany. Maybe somewhere else. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But like I said, I you know, this is I'm still happy with my show, but pro qualifier is another level, and so I need to ask for that, but I'm not doing it in Germany.
All right. So Dennis, you are a big shooter. I mean, you love guns, right? I see all the videos when you run around in the desert and you shoot, and with automatic weapons and whatnot, and you have a lot of fun, right?
Definitely, yes, definitely. Well, my friend is, I mean, he's full into it, and yeah, I'm glad he's you know, always practicing, and I'm going with him as much as possible. Yeah. So, but look, it's the same like with I think motorcycles, something like that. You never forget it, you know, how to drive and how to use it, but you get like rusty if you don't shoot for 2-3 weeks, man. You need like an hour to be like the same, you know. It's tough. So but I need to practice more. I would love to practice more, but sometimes just you don't want to drive an hour and an hour back, and that's the whole day, you know. Sometimes I just don't want to spend the whole day on it.
Right. But it's a lot of fun. I remember when I used to live in Arizona, I was shooting a Winchester 1956. And you see in all these Indians and cowboy movies, when they do this, no, not happening.
No, it's like
exactly. The kickback is like killing you.
Yeah, kickback is badass. Yes, yeah.
Yes.
So next time I'm in Vegas, I'm gonna get
Artyom. I'm an amateur in this, but look, I'm practicing, so that's important.
So next time I'm in Vegas, I'm gonna do a workout in your gym, huh?
Hit me up, definitely. Yes,
absolutely.
Yeah, let Ben send you my number. No problem.
Very good. Thank you so much.
Oh yes, you are very welcome here.
Yeah, I was so excited to do this.
Great.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very good.
Anytime.
All right. I think we through more or less, I guess.
You're good. Thank you so much. Perfect.
Yes.
Oh, thank you, gentlemen. That was a lot of fun. Yeah, and of course, Jean-Pierre, talking to you for the first time ever. I mean,
very, very nice.
We always like being bodybuilding fans, and you know, I think it's just because of the injuries. You left too early, and right after that, I was there. That's why we never met.
Well, we did now, and let's keep that up. That's
exactly.
great.
So, but it doesn't have to be the last time. Okay, so when you're in Vegas, same with you, Ben. Let me know. You can always train here.
100%. Right? Thank you so much, Dennis. And two of the best German-speaking bodybuilders of all times, J.P.Fux and Dennis Will. Thank you so much for coming, Dennis.
Okay, very good.
Thank you.
Thank
you. Bye, guys.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye-bye.